and Android.
Right now at 5, Fort Scott, Kansas residents are cleaning up after receiving more than a foot of rain over the weekend.
And we've got a relatively decent Tuesday until we head into the evening hours. We're going to take a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a number of Oklahoma communities deal with the aftermath of dozens of tornadoes.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So yesterday we kind of recapped the weekend of severe weather across the area. Flooding is still a concern across parts of southeastern Kansas. But today, the majority of today will be similar to yesterday. It's going to be a little warmer. It's going to be a bit breezy. It won't be until the evening hours where we see another potential round of strong, possibly severe thunderstorms. But we're going to get you out the door first. We're going to start with a look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. Right now, looking pretty good. And as I mentioned, the majority of this day is going to be relatively decent out there. A bit on the breezy side. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, looking pretty good. We don't have any fog to show you. Now, don't get me wrong. I've run into some fog in some of the rural areas. It's not overly dense, but do be aware there is some patchy fog in some locations. We're looking pretty good from the KDOT camera on 69 south of Pittsburgh. So we still have a number of flood warnings, especially for streams, creeks, and rivers around the area. Aerial flood warnings, and unfortunately, this dark green box, that's a new flood watch that will run until noon tomorrow, as we're expecting additional thunderstorms as we go into the evening and overnight hours and over the next couple of days. We're at 58 in Joplin right now, 55 in Pittsburgh. No cold front rolling through this morning. All of us with southerly winds, and that's got the entire region not too bad. Mid-upper 50s, we're at 60, Parsons and Neodesha. A little cooler down south, some low 50s out there, but again, overall, not a bad start to the day. Kids getting on the bus, we're looking at sunny skies, about 58, south breeze around 5 to 10, and then that wind will pick up a little later this afternoon. We're expecting sunny skies, maybe a cloud or two out there. Look at that though, 81, south breeze 10 to 20 with gusts to 30, and that's where our highs are headed, into the low 80s. And then as we head into the evening, starting our western counties, we're going to start to see some thunderstorm chances roll into the area. And again, some of these could be strong, possibly severe. We're going to break down all the details on the next few days of storms with that full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, communities across the 4 states are cleaning up flood damage from weekend storms. Areas around Fort Scott, Kansas are among the worst hit by flooding. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
This was one of the worst floods we've had in a while. 1986 was the worst flood that I've ever witnessed. I've been here 54 years, and that was the worst flood where the water crested at 52 feet, and this one crested right around 47 and a half feet.
Fort Scott City Manager Bradley Mackin thanks local emergency services for their assistance during the severe weather and flooding. City officials are now focusing on cleaning up.
You know, I don't think the cleanup is going to last that long. We've got a couple roads that have to be redone to repair those once we get started on them, but we have to get to that point. But the overall cleanup won't take more than a week, and we'll be back to normal business.
It's not just city and county workers dealing with the aftermath. Workers at Pete's convenience store on US 54 cleaned up over a foot of flood water.
Came down to check on the place because it was flooded really bad yesterday, and showed up, and I didn't think it was going to be this bad, but it's pretty bad.
The convenience store was in 18 inches of flood water.
We're having to pull almost every single product that was 18 inches at that 18-inch level because we have to waste it out and everything, and get all the mud and everything off the floors. They have to rewire everything inside.
Residents are eager to clean up and for water levels to return back to normal because navigating across town is tricky.
Then the river overflowed down there by the bridge. It was rolling over the river, so it couldn't come down here. And I don't know, it's a mess.
Reporting in Fort Scott, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
According to the city manager, the cleanup should take less than a week. Damaged roads will be repaired. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment, or KDHE, has issued a stream advisory for part of the Verdigris River because of an oil well spill. The advisory is from 75 Highway east of Neodesha, Kansas, in Wilson County and the Oklahoma state line. The KDHE says people should not allow children, livestock, or pets to enter the stream. Well, the heavy rains are also causing issues in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. This is a video of the Neosho River at Twin Bridges State Park. As you can see, debris and logs have accumulated in the river for about the length of 2 football fields, causing a jam. The city of Miami says it's not aware of any plans by ODOT or GRDA to remove the debris or close the bridge at this time. For more information about area river levels, go to the website page on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, Saturday's storms dropped tornadoes throughout Oklahoma, including what forecasters say was at least an EF3 in the town of Sulphur. Downtown Sulphur was torn apart with winds reaching at least 140 miles an hour. 1 person there was killed. 2 more were killed in Holdenville, Oklahoma. 12 counties in Oklahoma are currently under a state of emergency. The city of Fredonia, Kansas has some tips for property owners recovering from this weekend's storms. One is to clear gutters and drains so water can flow more freely away from your home. Also seal your windows and doors to prevent water infiltration and inspect your sump pump to make sure it can handle excess water if needed. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Crowder Baseball raises awareness of autism while taking on Neosho County Community College. Plus, at least 45 people are dead and over 110 injured due to flash flooding and landslides in Kenya. And we're tracking thunderstorms for tonight. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Get an 11%.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Riverton High School baseball entered yesterday as the number 2 ranked team in Class 3A. The Rams have won 8 of their last 9 games, bringing their record up to 18-3 on the year. Yesterday afternoon, they played a doubleheader at Pitt State. Riverton baseball facing Columbus at Al Ortolani Field. Game 1 of a doubleheader, top of the first, 1 out, bases loaded. Noah Harper gets a ground ball, which leads to a 4-6-3 double play. Rams get out of the inning, allowing no runs. So we get to the bottom of the second, 2 outs. Carter Woodcock hits a line drive into right field. That gets down. The Titans score 3 in the second to take a 3-1 lead. Top of the third, Riverton responds. Will Mann is going to send one into shallow right field. That drops down, lead cut to 1. So we go to the bottom of the third. Columbus with runners on first and third, 2 outs. Ben Major gets caught in a rundown. But while he's being chased, another run scores. The Rams come back to tie it at 4. But the Titans score the final 3 runs of the game. They take the front end of the doubleheader 7-4. And the second game is another Columbus win. And this time the Titans dominate 9-1 the final score. They had Riverton its 4th and 5th losses of the season in the same day. Columbus and Frontenac are the only teams from Kansas to beat the Rams this year. Over in Neosho, Crowder Baseball has its final regular season home game yesterday afternoon. Rough Rider head coach Travis Lallemand enters the day with 799 career wins. An opportunity for Travis Lallemand to pick up career win number 800. Yesterday afternoon, as 8th-ranked Crowder Baseball hosts Neosho County Community College. This is Crowder's autism awareness game. McKenna Kaler throws out the ceremonial first pitch before the game between the Rough Riders and the Panthers. She's a sophomore at East Newton High School attending the Link Transition Program. However, the Panthers spoil the festivities. They win 8-5. Coach Lallemand will have to wait just a little bit longer to get his 800th victory. Rough Riders' regular season is over. They host Metropolitan Community College in a sub-regional best-of-3 series this weekend. The first 2 games are on Friday. Over in the NFL, the Chiefs and Travis Kelce agreed to a 2-year extension yesterday. The 3-time Super Bowl champion was already under contract through the end of the 2025 season, but this 2-year extension will keep him in Kansas City through the end of the 2025 season, at which point he'll be 37 years old. According to the NFL Network, the new deal will pay him just over $34 million in the final 2 years, which makes Kelce the highest paid tight end in the league. Well, in the NBA, the Thunder have made quick work of the Pelicans thus far into their first-round playoff series. Last night, OKC has the chance to complete a 4-game sweep. That's exactly what the Thunder do. They win Game 4 by a final score of 97-89 and will advance to the Western Conference semifinals, where they await the winner of the first-round series between the Mavericks and Clippers. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led the way last night with a double-double off 24 points and 10 rebounds. Still to come, we're going to see why the USDA has started testing beef from grocery stores for bird flu, and we'll talk about those incoming thunderstorm chances when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Who says you need to try?
Officer, visit our website to get your tickets.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:16 now on this Tuesday morning. A quick recap of the flood warnings that we have across the area. And we have a new flood watch for a big portion of southeastern Kansas that'll run until noon tomorrow, as if you didn't need any more rain right now. Well, more is on the way. Let's take a quick look at temperatures. We're going to talk about those storms. We're at 58 in Joplin right now. South-southeast breeze at about 7 miles an hour. Temperatures around the region. Yesterday we had that weak cold front that came through in the morning hours. Nothing like that today. South winds out there. And so our temperatures, for the most part, are in the mid to upper 50s. And we've got a couple of 60s there in Parsons and Neodesha. Now, let's break down our severe threats, as if anyone really wanted to see this. Unfortunately, this is what we're looking at. We do have a low to elevated tornado risk across portions of southeastern Kansas, but the bigger concerns this go around are for hail and wind. We have that low to elevated hail risk with just a small sliver of a significant hail threat out there, and we have a low to elevated wind risk across the area. And this is as we head into this evening, overnight tonight, and very early tomorrow morning. So let's break down the next 3 days of thunderstorm chances. We could have a stray cloud or two here or there. Otherwise, for most of our Tuesday, we're pretty good. We're warm, we're breezy, we're mostly clear. By 7 o'clock this evening, here comes that first round of strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, there's a greater threat for severe weather out to our northwest. This is going to be what's left of that activity as it rolls into the area this evening. By 9, as you can see, we got scattered thunderstorms across southeastern Kansas, and again, those could be strong to severe. By midnight, just a couple of storms out there, but that does not take away their severe threat. And as we head into Wednesday morning, the rest of that activity will move on out of here. Now, Wednesday, we're looking to be mostly cloudy. We're still going to be warm, still a bit breezy, and then we go back into Wednesday evening. Here comes round 2. More strong, potentially severe thunderstorms brewing across southeastern Kansas and into northeast Oklahoma. Those will fizzle out, and then as we go into our Thursday, initially we're mostly cloudy, and then we see additional shower and thunderstorm development. This is going to be a little more widespread on our Thursday, and it's going to persist through a good portion of the day. And on Thursday, some of those storms could be strong, low-grade severe out there. So again, today, our low to elevated severe threat heading into this evening. Low to elevated tomorrow, but you can see it's a little more restricted, but still, it's across southeast Kansas where we don't need any additional severe weather at this point. And then across most of the area, we have a risk for some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms out there. As for the rest of our morning, again, sunny skies, about 75 by 11 o'clock this morning. That's ahead of highs well above average again as we go into the low, even mid-80s out there, and we'll be breezy. Those south winds gusting upwards to 30. We'll start to see those showers and thunderstorms rolling in this evening, and we'll eventually fall back into the low to mid-60s for our overnight lows tonight. And as we look ahead, we got 80s again Wednesday, 70s Thursday, a little cooler Friday, more thunderstorm chances as we head into the weekend and the start of next week, and temperatures warming back up into the low 80s by next week again as well. Let's check your forecast. We're back with Health Watch after this.
Joplin Humane Society is excited for...
I am ready.
Then take a spin on the Wheel of Fortune.
topping Health Watch this morning. It's estimated that 1 in 5 U.S. adults live with a mental illness, but knowing the signs and getting a diagnosis opens up treatment options that can help manage symptoms. Mandy Gaither explains when it's time to see a doctor for mental health concerns.
When your body doesn't feel well, you see a doctor. But what about when your mind feels off?
A lot of us get overloaded on a day-to-day basis, and sometimes that load continues to build and to build, and then we hit a breaking point.
Dr. Jay Lee with the American Academy of Family Physicians says routine doctor visits are critical, especially when it comes to mental health.
As a family physician, when I walk into a room of somebody that I've known for a while, I can kind of just take one look and ask them, "Yeah, you doing okay?"
Lee says it's important to share symptoms with your doctor, especially if you have signs of depression, which can include feeling persistently sad, hopeless, irritable, or guilty. If you've lost interest in things you used to love, have trouble sleeping, concentrating, or have thoughts of death or suicide. Another common mental health illness is anxiety. General symptoms include feeling restless, easily fatigued, trouble concentrating, being irritable, having sleep problems, and not being able to control feelings of worry.
If you're able to name it or give it a name, it's almost less threatening when you have something that you can point to and say, "This is what it is that's bothering me."
With a diagnosis, symptoms can be treated sooner, or a referral can be made to get a patient the help that's needed. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is also available 24 hours a day. Just call or text 988. The USDA has started testing beef, including ground beef, from grocery stores for H5N1 bird flu virus. The virus has been spreading in dairy cattle. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said it's doing 3 separate beef safety studies. The agency is sampling ground beef bought at grocery stores in states where dairy cattle have tested positive for H5N1 bird flu. Officials are also taking samples of muscle tissue from sick cows culled from their herd. Another study involves cooking the beef to see how much virus is killed at different temperatures. The USDA said it's confident the meat supply is safe and there are multiple safeguards in place to protect consumers. A new study finds that teens who vape have a higher risk of exposure to lead and uranium. Experts say the metal exposure could harm brain and organ development in young people. The study was published Monday in the journal Tobacco Control. The study's authors found that among teens who vaped intermittently 6 to 19 days out of a month, urine lead levels were 40% higher than compared with occasional vapors. Vaping has slightly declined among teens, and the 2023 National Youth Tobacco Survey found the use of e-cigarettes among high schoolers decreased by more than 4% from 2022 to last year. The Biden administration's plan to ban menthol cigarettes went up in smoke, at least for now. Officials announced they would again pause the measure proposed by the Food and Drug Administration aimed at preventing hundreds of thousands of smoking-related deaths. The reversal effectively killing any chance the ban will be lifted before the election in November. Correspondent Molly Henneberg is in Washington with a reaction to the delay.
After several delays and lots of controversy, the Biden administration extinguished, for now, any plan to ban the sale of menthol cigarettes. Those are the cigarettes with an added chemical, menthol, that supposedly reduces irritation in a smoker's throat and airway. Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra said the administration had received, quote, an immense amount of feedback, including from various elements of the civil rights and criminal justice movement. It's clear that there are still more conversations to have, and that will take significantly more time. Supporters of the ban say it would reduce the number of young people taking up smoking, help smokers quit, and reduce disease and death.
It has a numbing and cooling effect and leads to deeper inhalation. The deeper you inhale, the more toxins and nicotine you take in. The more toxins and nicotine you take in, the more addicted you become.
But critics say it would create a black market of unregulated menthol cigarettes. hurt small convenience stores, and target black smokers, nearly 85% of whom smoke menthol cigarettes, according to the FDA. And there's the matter of the upcoming presidential election.
Now they're saying, well, we're not going to do that because we think that saving lives is outweighed by the fact that we need support from the majority of users of menthol cigarettes, which are Black and Latino Americans.
Still, the ban has had the support of the NAACP and members of the Congressional Black Caucus.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We've got ourselves a pretty decent Tuesday lined up for most of the day. Then we've got more thunderstorm chances later this evening. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
You think you can't afford dental implants? Think again.
Go ahead and smile.
Right now at 5:30, some members of the Carthage City Council renew their efforts to oust the mayor and city administrator.
And we've got a pretty decent start to our Tuesday. Not a bad day for most of the day. We'll have a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, parents and students in Joplin schools are seeing changes to their bus routes after receiving a letter from the school's transportation department.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So we've got a pretty decent start today. We do have some patchy fog out there in rural areas, but not as significant as what we saw yesterday morning. And unfortunately, we have more showers and thunderstorms, potentially strong to severe storms rolling in by later this evening. We're going to get to all of that in your full forecast here in a few more minutes, but we need to get you out the door. If you're waking up, you need to know what you need to do for most of the day. And most of our Tuesday is looking pretty good. Let's start with a look outside from the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line in Joplin. Again, not bad out there this morning. We've got clear skies, temperatures. They're cool, but they could be a lot worse. And the big thing that we're going to be reminding you about is the flood warnings across the area. And of course, here, aerial flood warnings, meaning a number of low water crossings and other areas are flooded. And then this dark green box, which these warnings supersede that, so that's why it's not showing up there. But this is a flood watch that's going to be in effect until noon tomorrow, as if you didn't need any more rain. You got to have time to dry out, and unfortunately, more showers and storms on the way this evening. As I mentioned, we're going to talk about all that in detail and break down the next few days worth of storms here in a few more minutes. But again, right now, we want to get you out the door. We're at 58 in Joplin, 54 in Pittsburgh right now. We don't have any kind of cold front or anything like that across the area this morning, so all of us with a southerly breeze, temperatures mid-upper 50s, still got a couple of 60s out there in Parsons in the Otishay, so much warmer than we were yesterday, especially across southeastern Kansas. Kids getting on the bus, about 58, sunny skies, south breeze 5 to 10, and sunny this afternoon, breezy, winds gusting up to 30, 81 when that bus brings them back home. We could see a stray cloud or two through the day, but it won't be until about 5, 6 o'clock this evening that we're going to start to see those showers and thunderstorms rolling into our far western counties. And again, some of those could be strong, potentially severe. We're going to break down all those details with that full forecast, as I mentioned, and that's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, the city of Carthage yesterday hosted a special meeting to discuss next steps in efforts to remove the city administrator and impeach the mayor. Council yesterday moved forward with the request for proposal for legal guidance on their next moves. The request could bring in an independent law firm or mean hiring a new city attorney after Carthage's resigned earlier this month.
My personal preference, I would prefer to have an attorney hired by the city. You know, the firm could be a fine option, but I think having that same person, that same consistency for city staff and all involved, that makes more sense.
The council's next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, May 14th, though they discussed holding another special meeting before then. MoDOT wants to alert some drivers in Joplin about road work that may impact them. Starting today, crews will close Connecticut Avenue to traffic just south of 38th Street. This daytime closure from 9 a.m. until dusk is to install stormwater pipes under Connecticut Avenue. Work is expected to continue daily through the end of the week, but may change due to weather or other unforeseen circumstances. Some parents and students in Joplin are seeing changes to their bus routes. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on how families are handling the sudden change.
No problems, no issues. And then here recently, matter of fact, last Wednesday, received a letter stating that they will no longer be able to ride the bus.
For more than 2 years, Nicholas Hyatt's sons have been registered and riding the bus to school. But last week, Hyatt received a letter from the Joplin School's Transportation Department informing him that his son's bus stop was found to be in a no-bus zone, meaning students are expected to be able to walk. The letter informed him that starting now, Hyatt must find alternate transportation for his son.
Concerned about how I'm going to get them back home safely. I'm not big on them walking.
The head of the Joplin School's Department of Transportation says the department regularly goes through their system and finds students who should be walking instead of riding the bus. He says the district is doing so to ensure they are being as cost-effective as possible. The department says they try to give families 4 to 5 days notice before students are no longer able to ride. But Hyatt says for many parents that just isn't enough time.
I'm just a single father, and I also work out of Neosho. So it makes it a little bit harder. We recently just moved up here 3 years ago. There's not a lot of family help around here for myself, and I'm sure it's the same thing for other parents around the community.
For now, Hyatt says he will be using his lunch break to drive from Neosho to pick up his son from school. Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The Joplin Schools Department of Transportation says they are continuously looking for ways to make their system more efficient. They say one way to do that is to identify and eliminate bus rides for students who live within their walk zone. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. In the first week since its formation, Haiti's Transitional President Council is taking steps to stop violence across the country. Plus, Israeli officials are concerned the International Criminal Court may issue arrest warrants for some of the country's leaders. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Louis Cardinals.
Topping World Watch. Well, in the first week since its formation, Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council is taking steps to stop violence across the country. It comes as thousands of people flee the capital. Correspondent Alex Hogan has more. We apologize for that technical difficulty. Well, parents spend a lot of their energy trying to get their baby to stop crying, but one competition in Japan aims to do the opposite. These sumo wrestlers in Tokyo have one goal in mind, and it's not to win against their fellow wrestler. Instead, they're trying to make babies cry. The competition, called Crying Sumo, was started in 1991 to wish health and well-being for children. Around 100 babies joined the event this year. Dozens are killed by flash flooding and landslides in Kenya. At least 45 people are dead and over 110 injured after a wall of water swept through homes and cut off a major road. Police initially blaming the flooding on a burst dam, but the Ministry of Water says it was caused by a river tunnel that became blocked with debris. At least 140 people have died in Kenya due to heavy rains and flooding since last month. Well, Israeli officials are getting increasingly concerned the International Criminal Court may issue arrest warrants for some of the country's leaders over the situation in Gaza. Meanwhile, the State Department has reportedly put on hold its intention to impose sanctions on Israeli military unit for human rights violations. State Department correspondent Jillian Turner has more.
The Biden administration is condemning an ally currently at war.
We found 5 Israeli units responsible for individual incidents of gross violations of human rights. All of these were incidents much before October 7th, and none took place in Gaza.
The next step, according to U.S. law, is funding cuts, but the State Department today refused to share any details about plans when pressed by reporters.
So I'm not going to get into the specifics of these incidents run up here. It is an ongoing process, so I'm not going to get more prescriptive or specific on the relevant details.
The so-called Leahy Law prohibits the U.S. government from funding foreign militaries that commit gross human rights violations. Fox News has learned the Biden administration made this decision in recent days, and it's been met with intense pushback from Israel's leaders and critics of President Biden's Israel policy.
It demonstrates the absolute moral confusion inside of the Biden administration. Israel is fighting to defend its own nation.
The decision's also likely to further inflame anti-U.S. and anti-Israeli sentiment at home and abroad. This news comes as Secretary Blinken's in Saudi Arabia discussing a potential ceasefire in Gaza with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and negotiating for the release of hostages, including an American still in Hamas captivity.
Hamas has before it a proposal that is extraordinarily generous. I'm hopeful that they will make the right decision.
The State Department's Arabic language spokesperson has now resigned, citing their opposition to the Biden administration's support for Israel in the ongoing war in Gaza. This is the third such resignation here at State since October 7th.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 544 coming up on 545 on this Tuesday morning. So a reminder of the flood warnings that we have across the area, and then this dark green box is a new flood watch. And that'll run until noon tomorrow because we are expecting more showers and thunderstorms across the area. 58 in Joplin right now, south-southeast breeze at 7. Skies are clear, and the majority of our Tuesday isn't going to be that bad. It won't be until this evening when we see more showers and thunderstorms. We're going to get to that here in just a second. Temperatures around the region, for the most part, mid-upper 50s out there. We've got that southerly breeze. We do have some low 50s here and there, but all in all, not a bad start to the day. And for our friends in southeast Kansas, considerably warmer, about 10 degrees warmer than where we started yesterday morning with that cold front. All right, at this point, I know you folks, especially in southeast Kansas, do not want to see this. You do not want to hear about it, but unfortunately, this is what we are looking at. We do have a low to elevated tornado threat across parts of southeast Kansas. We have a low to elevated hail risk with just a sliver of the area getting into a significant hail risk, and we have a low to elevated wind risk. So I suppose on that end, wind and hail are the primary concerns with storms as we go into the evening hours, but an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. And you've already dealt with enough 11 tornado reports in southeast Kansas over a 2-day period. Back-to-back tornado events. And you don't need anything else like that. You also don't need any more heavy rain, but that's a possibility as we head into the evening. Now, again, for today, most of Tuesday, it's not bad. A few clouds here and there. Otherwise, sunny skies. Our temperature is going to make it into the 80s out there with a south wind gusting occasionally to 30. And then by about 6 o'clock, showers and thunderstorms. Now, the greater severe threat at this point is off to our north and west. These are going to be what's left out of that complex as it tries to hold together as it moves south and east across the area. That's when we could start seeing some of these strong, potentially severe thunderstorms. Here we are at 9, still seeing them. They're scattered, but we're still looking at that threat for strong to severe thunderstorms. And then as we head towards sunrise, we still have a few showers in northeastern Oklahoma at 3 a.m., but we'll start to clear out at sunrise. And we're going to spend our Wednesday mostly cloudy, still warm, temperatures reaching the 80s, and then by Wednesday evening, another round of thunderstorms across southeast Kansas especially, and some of these could be strong to severe once again, and they'll sink south-southeast across the area and start to clear out by late Wednesday. Then Thursday, we're going to see scattered showers and thunderstorms with greater chances as we head into the evening hours across the area. And some of these could be strong to low-grade severe as they roll across the area late Thursday as we head through our Thursday afternoon. So that Here's a look at the severe threat over the next 3 days. Today, again, a low to elevated severe risk across the area. Tomorrow, another low to elevated severe risk, but you can see it's a little more condensed. And as we go into Thursday, some of the storms we see on Thursday could be strong to low-grade severe as well. So we got a lot to keep our eyes on. It is severe weather season, and unfortunately, we're just getting started with severe weather season. We've still got all of May to get through, and tomorrow's the first day. And May is definitely going to bring us some additional storm chances. We get our morning started. Sunny skies. We're going to make it about 75 by 11 o'clock this morning. Again, ahead of highs in the low to mid 80s today. We're going to go low 80s again on Wednesday in between the morning and evening storm chances. Mid 70s on Thursday because we're going to spend most of the day mostly cloudy with scattered storms out there. So we're a little cooler as we head into Friday. Sunny skies. As we head into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, more scattered shower and thunderstorm chances. And that does keep our temperatures a little cooler, but by cooler, I mean about average as we head into the weekend. And then we'll start to clear out by the middle of next week. Temperatures warming back up into the low 80s. That's a check of your forecast. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Neosho Arts Council is bringing one penny.
RealRun.com for more details and to sign up today.
A Wisconsin mainstay is hanging up his clippers after cutting hair in Glenwood for more than 7 decades. Norm Hagen announces his retirement, and many people say they will miss the 92-year-old. Boy Hubert reports.
Arrive in Glenwood City, Wisconsin, and you'll find history outside.
Norm Barbershop, this is Norm.
And in.
That was the first Cadillac in town.
Norm Hagen and Glenwood City history.
That's the first bank.
Have always been close.
This is my first barbershop I was in, right there.
So maybe it was inevitable. He'd just become part of it.
72 years, yeah.
72 years cutting the hair of Glenwood City's men. Haircut and a massage.
And all for $10. He's got his price sign right there.
That's me and Norm. Norm giving me my first haircut.
Alex Brigham is hardly alone.
I was a little kid.
How many people Bill Johnson's age can say they're still going to the same barber?
69 years old.
But then how many towns can claim a 92-year-old barber?
This is a Lee Barber School.
Trained.
Yeah, I'm right there, I guess.
During the Truman administration.
Giving a guy a shave.
Married to Mary, and then kids.
I retired before my dad did.
Chris and Todd and Craig grew up in their dad's barbershop.
Got to learn a fabulous vocabulary you
That's
couldn't
right.
use in school.
Or at home, yeah.
Yeah, right.
The need for a haircut.
What do you think happened to that chip?
Has never been a prerequisite for stopping at Norm's.
A lot of the world's problems were solved here in this room.
When the cafe closed, one of Norm's customers brought him a coffee maker so they'd have a place to share the town's goings-on while venting.
Yeah, right.
About politics and the Packers.
There might be 20 bushel.
Though lately the talk has taken a turn.
You're retiring?
Yeah.
The only barber in Glenwood City is calling it quits.
You got to respect his retirement, I guess, you know. I think he earned it, so.
Some are suggesting Norm take his 1948 barber chair
Put the hydraulic fluid in there.
home with him.
Put it in the corner of the bedroom and we'll come out there and get a haircut.
We asked Norm why he finally decided to retire at 92.
I'm going to try something else.
Turns out it's not too late
You're going to try something else.
Yeah.
to add a new chapter to Norm Hagen's history.
I'll come to your retirement party for sure.
Well, Norm says he would like to spend more time with his son on his farm. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Us. We'll see you at the theater.
Well, Panera Bread is joining in on the Kentucky Derby fun with its new offering. The food chain is debuting a new limited edition bread hat. The hat is inspired by Panera's signature bread bowl. The hat features a 3D printed replica of the bread bowl, bright ostrich feathers, and a gold spoon. Perfect for Derby Day, which is set to take place on May 4th. The price about $21, but the hat's quickly sold out after launching yesterday. If you still want to get your hands on one, you can request to be added to an email list to be notified when more become available. Whether it's milk tea or a fruity flavor, grab your boba straw because today is National Bubble Tea Day. Bubble tea can be customized with different toppings and sugar levels. The drink was created in the 80s in Taiwan as it combines tea, milk, and tapioca bubbles, also known as boba or pearls. Celebrate by sharing your favorite drink on social media with the hashtag National Bubble Tea Day.
And today's going to be a pretty good day to have a nice ice cold tea or whatever, you know, because it's going to be pretty warm ahead of thunderstorm chances tonight. Sunny skies as we get the day underway, 75 out there. We'll have winds gusting out of the south upwards of 30, tied in with highs in the low to mid 80s across the area. And again, a passing cloud or two will be possible. Then as we head into this evening, starting about 6 in our far western counties, more showers and thunderstorms. Some of these could be strong, possibly severe. Now, all hazards are possible, but at this point, hail and wind seem to be the primary concern with these storms, and they'll continue into the late evening and early overnight hours, and we'll fall back into the low 60s. After a pause during the day Wednesday, will be mostly cloudy, warm though, back into the low 80s out there with more strong, possibly severe thunderstorms by Wednesday evening, and then we'll have scattered thunderstorms on and off throughout the day Thursday. Some of those could be strong, low-grade severe out there. A brief break on Friday, sunny skies about average, 70. More thunderstorm chances as we head into the weekend and the start of next week. And after those clear out, temperatures back to those warm levels into the low 80s. Let's check your forecast. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News coming right up.
Stream KOAM